Morning, Briggs.
Morning, Dodson.
Hair looks amazing.
Oh.
Makes me want to lick mine down a little bit. Or not.
I actually got a blowout.
I can tell.
Yeah, yesterday. But it is weird because it poured rain yesterday. So right after my blowout, I went out in the rain.
Yeah.
And then the humidity here is like a complete nightmare.
It still looks really good, though.
So, and I slept on it.
See?
So
you've got powers.
It's really just the dry shampoo this morning. So it helped.
It's modest of you. It's just the dry shampoo.
Well, it is. Well, no, I got a blowout. It's not like I styled it myself.
Hey, who's doing them? Did you go to the dry bar?
No.
Oh.
I don't like the dry bar anymore.
Oh, well, anyway, okay. I don't know what's open and what's not.
Mario is where I go for everything.
That's your place. They can blow dry again?
They can blow dry again.
Oh.
Yes.
Fingers crossed we stay in whatever phase we're in, because now I'm hearing that other people are like regressing into the undesirable phases where you have to like go underground for blow dry and stuff.
Oh, well, you know what? I did.
May that not happen.
I think I mentioned in the last one that when I went to Texas with my kids, that I did get my hair colored and cut, and it was like $300 or something crazy.
Yeah.
And I walked out of there with a sopping wet head. I
that's
walked
dumb.
out like a drowned rat because they couldn't blow dry.
Did they go backward or are they still good?
No,
in their phases?
No, they went backward. They're bad right now.
Shit.
Texas?
Okay.
I know. So I'm just glad I'm home from Texas.
Because I'm feeling very symptomatic with my mental state.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Same. But before we move on, let's
see? I'm all like out of sorts. Get rid of the evil spirits.
All
What
right.
are we even toasting to?
Tap.
Illinois being in phase
4. We're getting blow dries, people. Hey, that's amazing.
Is it too strong?
Well, hello
Wow.
and good morning. I'm going to add a little agua to mine.
Am I going to choke all over this?
You might. Okay. I can really shoot whiskey.
Don't make me laugh when I'm doing that. It's not going to be our thing where the WTF is me spitting it on you in our fancy new microphone.
Oh, no. If we actually had like a live WTF, that would be amazing.
That would be good. We would have to bring children. I was going to give you a different WTF because I have so many, but now that we're talking about shaming, I'll give you this other one instead.
Oh, good.
So I was taking a shower the other day, and one of them turning off the shower water just means that I'm not in water anymore. It does not mean I'm ready to mother you, right? The second the water goes off, they just come in. Like I'm clothed and ready.
Don't you have a lock on your door?
No.
Time to get one installed, Brian.
Time to get 12 of them. So I'm
Put one of
naked
those little
and
hooks,
drying off.
yeah.
I know.
Just do that.
And the daughter that came in is like, oh, God, gross. I'm like, well, you're the dumbass that walked in here while I'm showering. Don't shame me.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's gross? That you were naked in the shower?
Yeah.
What are you supposed to...
Well, I was out of it, but I was standing there naked. That's what people do when they're showering.
What did she expect when she came in?
Like,
that you were going to be fully clothed?
I guess.
Oh.
The water went off. Mommy's dressed, ready.
But what a lovely reaction.
Yeah.
I bet that made you feel great.
You know what? Well, then MK the other day, now she said, wait, is it low key or high key that's the compliment? Does Olivia say that?
No.
Low key? No? Mm-mm. Oh, all day long. Wait, how did they do it? Low key, you're really cool, whatever. Low key or high key?
Never heard of this before.
Low key, like you're doing a really good job with your workouts and everything. I'm like, oh, thanks. And she goes, bet if you added like an extra workout of just solid ab work every day, you could, get rid of the part of your stomach that you don't like. Well, I bet I couldn't.
Actually, not true. Workouts don't take away extra skin.
Thank
you, though, MK.
But thank you.
Thank you.
Or you could just post a picture of yourself with your tiger skin to this website that celebrates, like, moms' shitty bodies.
Yeah. No,
or you could just stop talking to me.
Yeah.
Just stop talking to me.
Like, thank you for giving birth to me and sacrificing your
That's a
certain
reminder
parts of your body.
that you have me. Oh, well, I'm like, I haven't forgotten.
You're like, you're right here. I haven't forgotten you.
All day long.
All day long.
So I get a fucked up stomach and you in my face.
Yep, right there.
Great.
Yep. Judging the shit out of me 24/7.
Well, that's why I bought the alkaline water, because the other day I bought a water that wasn't the right water. And she's like, low key, that's like the most acidic water you could drink. I'm like, oh. I'm so
low key. So like you just did something wrong?
No, I don't know how the low key and high key works. I just hear it all day long.
I cannot keep up with that stuff.
Maybe
that
high
drives
key
me
is
nuts.
the ultimate compliment. Like, Briggs, high key, your hair looks so good. Or would it be low key?
But if you said that to me, I would say, what? And shut up. Just speak to me like a normal human. God,
low key, if you worked out more.
Oh my God. Nope. No patience. I have zero.
So I haven't
these
talked
days.
to you because everything is insane and nobody ever leaves me alone. But so update me on everything.
I know this is the first time I've seen you in a while.
I know. It's lame. If we didn't have this.
Well, and I think I tried to text you when I got home from our trip last week.
Yeah.
And you were like, wait, just don't even tell me about it.
Well, because why would I sit there and bother when it's more fun here with bourbon?
Right. I know.
But I do want to hear about
boring.
it. Your pictures were beautiful.
Yes.
New Hampshire.
Yeah. Who goes to New Hampshire these days?
You. Now you're like an East Coast girl?
Well, apparently so.
Is it a closed state?
It is. So we went to New Hampshire last week, not for vacation, but actually, people in my close circle of family and friends know that I have a son that goes to school out in New Hampshire. And so this was our first opportunity to go out there and visit him because he was on a school break. Mm-hmm. So that's why we were in New Hampshire. We weren't like, oh, let's head out to New Hampshire
Let's go to Delaware.
Yeah.
But it looked really nice.
It was interesting. So I have never been to New Hampshire before. So it was crazy. Like,
is it just like the countryside of New York State, except it's boring?
It's really not boring. I mean, you really have to like nature to be in New Hampshire. It's a beautiful state.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Good. Cheers to that.
Yeah. Like when you go into the towns though, I mean, it is like hillbilly country, you know?
But East Coast hillbilly. No?
I don't know what East Coast hillbilly is,
Well,
but
I don't either. That's why I was asking
hillbilly
you.
to me is
I'm
hillbilly.
asking you for a friend.
Yeah,
like,
well,
is there a difference?
You're asking for a baskin. I don't know. It was hillbilly, just what you picture. There's like, pickup trucks in everybody's lawns and whatever.
That's not my idea of New Hampshire countryside small town. I'm going to pretend you didn't say that.
Okay.
So go ahead.
So we went to New Hampshire, and because of all of the COVID travel regulations right now, we were trying to stay at an Airbnb, or I didn't really want to stay at a hotel right now, but, we were going out there to visit my son, so we had to figure something out, right?
Yeah.
So I found this awesome Airbnb. It was right on the water, lots of, kayaks and water sports to do, and it was an awesome house. And
Good find.
Yeah, it was like good enough for our family of 6, 4 bedrooms.
Did you have it all to yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay.
We did. So I booked this like a week in advance because it was kind of like a last minute sort of trip. And day before we fly out to New Hampshire, the Airbnb guy calls me and he's like, oh, yeah, I'm really sorry to tell you this, but I just realized that you're coming in from Illinois. And we can't have you here because Illinois was still a high-risk state at that time. So the government regulations in New Hampshire were...
Oh, for fuck's sake.
For fuck's sake was right. I had 24 hours to find somewhere else to stay. So they only gave us, a 24-hour notice that we couldn't stay there.
That's great.
I was like, you charged my credit card and everything. So
Right. Here's some tents.
now I don't know what to do. So I looked up the New Hampshire regulations, and sure enough, nobody from Florida, Illinois, Texas, Arizona, oh
my God.
yeah, couldn't stay in the state, or they weren't allowed to rent out their rental properties.
But you could stay at a hotel, or they won't open.
They wouldn't let us stay at a hotel.
Oh, God,
the hotels in that area, like in that Concord area, which is the capital of New Hampshire, they were using their hotels for essential workers. So I'm not staying in that damn hotel.
Ew.
So,
Pitch a tent.
so I thought about pitching a tent. Actually, what I thought about doing is just not going.
Looks like we're not going.
But the things that we do and try to work out for our kids is really incredible sometimes, what we do, even under these circumstances, because I'm like, this is nuts. I don't know what to do now. So, and I'm not a camper.
No.
I'm a glamper. I don't camp. I like to camp like during the day. Like I like to be out and...
That's not the camping part. That's called hanging out outside. Camping is when it's your house.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
well, burned that egg on the fire and use a leaf to wipe your ass and don't get ticks when you squat in the woods.
Nope, I'm good. I don't do that. So I called the school that my son goes to, and I'm like, listen, I don't know the area. I don't know what to look for. I don't know like distances from here to there. I need to figure out what to do. I have a family of 6. Like we have to have like some pretty good accommodations. You can't. It's not just me coming out there, you know. So they're like, oh, you know what? We have this relationship with this amazing couple 3 miles down the road from the school. They own this bed and breakfast, and they're amazing hosts, and you will not be disappointed. So,
and it was available?
Well, so they reached out to them, said, we have this family that wants to come out, visit their son at the school. Can you accommodate them for the next 5 days? And it just so happens this was the first weekend or week that they were opening since COVID.
Lucky.
And they didn't have anybody staying there.
Perfect.
Or at least that we knew of. And so,
that you knew of.
So
what does that mean?
I'll tell you.
You had extra guests?
Well, yeah. Uh-huh. Hold on.
Critters? Did they? Nope. No. Okay.
So we get to the bed and breakfast. And
so the other guy really did shut you down because of the restrictions, like truly followed that rule.
Right.
That's
because
so weird.
Because legally he was renting out to a family
from Illinois. Was he very, very sorry?
Not really. He just sent me shot me a quick email. We can't host you. You're from Illinois. I'm gonna shred your credit card information and good luck to you.
The longest. We should have been the ones that are like, oh, Illinois, welcome.
I know.
You were locked down for 3 years. Welcome. No. Okay. We're the gross ones.
Yeah. Well.
Okay.
What can you do to change that? Nothing.
Go to your B&B.
Right.
Okay. Did you have that to yourself?
So, yes.
Except for these critters or...
Well, no, it's not critters.
Okay, what happened?
I know. So we get here. And, you know, I've never stayed at a bed and breakfast before with my whole family. Wait, have you ever stayed at a bed and breakfast? It's very strange.
Once, but I hated the shit out of it because, like, the people that owned it were there, like, trying to be our friends.
Well, no, that's what a bed and breakfast is.
I don't like that. I don't want to be your friend.
Nope.
And you're
staying in their home.
And I'm like, you know, they don't sleep during the night, and the couple's old. I'm like, people here probably sleep.
Oh, so you brought your kids?
So yes, well, in New York.
Oh,
this is an East thing. Whatever.
Well,
but I'm like, everybody, shut up.
Yeah.
In these tiny beds, shut up.
It was a very interesting experience. We have never stayed at one before, so we get there and we realize that this particular bed and breakfast was built in 1785.
Nice.
The house was still pretty much, I mean, with like probably very, very minor upgrades, but it was still the original house.
Creak.
The floors were like on an incline. None of the doors closed.
That's like my house.
It was kind of like your house.
Yeah.
No, your house
no doors latch or lock.
No. Well, that's why your kids see you naked all the time. What do you expect? Although they don't close all the way, but they did have like the little metal hook that
we have some of those here and there. Yeah.
So, yes. So the same thing. Because of COVID, these people were like, so normally, like, we give you the bed and then we give you the breakfast. That's what we do. But because of COVID, we can't make you breakfast.
No food.
So we can put out
not even in the lame little styrofoam?
No, they did. So she said, so what we can do is we can put out things that you can serve yourself with, like the little single cup of Honey Nut Cheerios.
Okay.
Or,
but they're not making you bacon.
No. And I'm like, so are you still charging us the same amount of money per room? And they're like, yes,
here's your Honey Nut Cheerios.
Here's your Honey Nut Cheerios and a rotten banana. Enjoy. I was
Did you bring a flask at
as
least?
long as I have coffee, I did not. Like, as long as I have coffee and, I'm good. So, same thing. The couple was kind of, they were out there with us. The guy was out there.
Yeah,
the
go
husband
away.
talking to us constantly. It was a beautiful home. They also have a farm, so they host.
That's how ours was too.
They host country style weddings there. It's on a
Did
huge
the farm
piece of property.
have like the pigs that if they were serving sausage and bacon that they would have like?
Well, we would have eaten their chickens'
yeah,
eggs.
that's how ours
So
was
that's how
in New York. Isn't that?
Yeah,
We
They had
should get one of
sheep.
those little farmette things,
Yeah,
but for us.
I know.
Not for other people to stay at. Just for us to have.
I am not down with staying with other people. That is not my thing.
No, we don't want to
It's
be
too
friends with you.
weird. No.
Don't make me be nice.
No, and the guy, like, he was really nice and everything, but I was kind of like, and I'm done talking to you now. He just kind of hung out a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And, like, one night I got done taking
Want
a
to play
shower.
Parcheesi with me for 5 hours?
Yeah, I know.
No.
One night I came downstairs and I had just showered, but I was sitting out on their deck area, and he comes out like immediately and he's like, "So you just take a shower?" I'm like,
Hey, he waited longer than you just turning off the water, though. Oh my God.
"There's a difference between your child and an old man that you've never met before."
Well, what was the thing where the extra what?
So, okay, so we stayed there for five nights. About the fourth night that we were there, the couple that lives there came out on the deck and they're like, "So, I just want to let you guys know." Now, my whole family is sitting out on the deck. We went to the store. We bought all this food and we were just sitting out on the deck enjoying dinner. And they're like, "We just want to let you know that, the Travel Channel did an entire piece on our property on the bed and breakfast, and they were here filming recently."
Really?
And so, yeah, we were all on TV, and my daughter was on TV, and they did this whole thing, and I'm like, wow, that's really cool. So I thought they were doing like a historical piece on the fact that what they had found was this particular house was a safe house for the Underground Railroad, which was really cool because they were saying, on the East Coast when the slaves were escaping slavery, that this house was originally a safe house.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool. So I really loved this whole history part of it. My kids are really interested in it.
Yeah,
and
I know. You
loved
guys
listening
love
to
all
the
of that
story.
stuff.
Yeah. But then she went into the fact that the show that was on the Travel Channel was the Ghost Brothers. And so they found...
That's the show that the house was featured on, was called The Ghost Brothers?
The Ghost Brothers is a show on the Travel Channel.
Okay.
And they came and did a piece on the fact that house is completely fucking haunted. And there's ghosts all over, and they found dead bodies in the back of the property in open graves where you could see that the property was...
Where they had escaped to go and, be zombies to people?
No, I think they were bodies of slaves from many years ago.
Why were they open?
You know what? This is so long ago
Because they didn't tap their bourbon down to get rid of the spirits? Can spirits open a grave?
I was so wishing
With their
that
magic,
I
they
had a tap to get rid of all those.
Did they show you the graves? Were they still there?
I was like, yeah, I don't really want to walk back there, right? Because at that time that he was telling me, it was foggy, and it was after
time
sunset,
for those spirits to start rising and rallying.
Yeah, they had archaeologists come out there and determine that there were, in fact, dead bodies under the ground, and you can see that the ground had been there were kind of dips in different parts of
for the bodies. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have a haunting while you were there? Did somebody move your Honey Nut Cheerios across the table
I
slowly?
did not. I'm so glad that they told us this
right
the night before
you
we
left.
were leaving.
So you only had one shitty night of sleep and unrest.
I was like, if she would have told me this the first night, I would have been camping.
Wait, did you notice anything? Come on, think. Somebody turned off the water on you. Howling noises?
Yeah, it was the noises. So it was a lot of noises. I would hear a lot of like weird animals, which I thought were animals, or I would hear, like, there was one night when I had a huge trouble sleeping, and my daughter and one of my boys was sleeping in one of the other rooms. This particular room that they were sleeping in was one of the main focuses of this ghost episode that was on the show.
That's too scary.
So, as it turns out, the story of this couple that lives there, she had a husband, her first husband that had passed away 10 years ago.
The couple that's there now.
Yes. Her first husband passed away 10 years ago.
Yeah.
She is remarried. So this is the couple that they're the innkeepers now. And she truly believes that her ex-husband's or her deceased husband's spirit is trapped in that house.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And she still wants to live there? Or
Yes.
they are weird then.
So she's, another one was that there was a little boy, that spirit that lives in their basement. And okay, get this. So eventually when they had the archaeologists come out and assess the property and whatever, they found a femur. A bone, a femur of a child.
All the deaths? Why did everybody die there?
They're saying that he was probably a child of a slave, or
oh my God! Good job, Briggs. What is wrong with you?
I didn't know this before we went.
I'm blaming it on you. That's horrible. So I'm scared now.
So now in the morning, she's like, "Yeah, I can't make you breakfast," but then in the morning she would come out and she'd have her apron on, and she's like.
You're like, is that you, or are you a ghost woman?
She would be like,
me breakfast.
Would you guys like some muffins?
No.
So my son Chase.
I would like some magic potion voodoo to keep spirits away.
My son Chase is 15. He goes, yeah. So this place. This is when we walked in there. This is before we even knew the story. He's like, this place is totally like The Conjuring, that movie.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh, stop. Like,
did
this
The
is a
Shining
beautiful
happen
place.
in the East too? See? The East is
don't know.
haunted.
It was really, really crazy.
That's scary as shit.
So Jimmy's like, my husband's like, well, we should, like, let's look up this episode. Well, mind you, we had no internet.
Right.
We had no internet service in this place, right? So that was creepy too, because
ghosts can cut phone lines too. Oh. You've seen Thriller.
You're pushing it, Dodson.
That's horrible. That is absolutely horrible. They live there and they don't mind?
Oh no,
They're
they
like,
give them peace. They're trying to.
Oh, they're happy spirits.
I don't know. I'm not really into this kind of thing.
Well, you're going to.
So I got home, a few days after I got home, there was one night where I couldn't sleep. And I'm like, I'm going to Google this episode.
Oh, that'll help you sleep.
I watched this whole hour-long episode of Ghost Brothers, and I was like, holy shit, I just slept in that room. I just slept in that bed. I just sat out on that deck. This is crazy. It's like a real thing.
Are you proud of yourself now, though?
I'm just glad we all got home alive.
But now I would be like, look how badass I am. I slept in the ghost house and actually slept.
Well, I mean, I it's not like I didn't have a couple nightcaps before I went to bed.
I didn't want to bring up the whole self-sedation thing, but...
Oh, my God.
How else would you?
Crazy.
With ghosts creaking around.
It was crazy. There's all these, like, mysterious doors that you don't know where they lead to. Like, there was a door in the bathroom, like, a door to... So you're in the bathroom, a door that leads to the bedroom, and a door that leads out to the hallway. But then there's another door that you're like, where the hell does this lead out to?
Stairway to hell.
Yeah.
See?
Crazy.
These things
crazy
exist
shit.
for a reason.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us back in Illinois in one piece, Briggs. Good to see you.
We're all alive. And I'm like, I felt so bad, like, when I was dropping my son back off at school as we were coming home. But I'm like, maybe next time we'll try to stay somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Sorry for the hauntings.
Another thing that was really crazy. So at 6 a.m. So my son has a hard time sleeping, and sometimes he'll just like go off, and like he was walking around in the woods one morning. Like, I don't know.
Before you knew it was haunted?
The day after I knew it was haunted.
Oh my God, have some fear.
So
Your kids have no fear.
Zero. So he thought it was super cool.
Yeah.
You know, but me, I'm like, I'm ready to pack and get the fuck on out of here.
Yeah. You're like in a Scooby-Doo episode
Yeah,
now.
totally. Oh my God. So I get woken up abruptly at like 6 a.m. Now, mind you, at home, back in Illinois, that's 5 a.m. So for me, that's still the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. And he comes barging in the room, and he's sweating to death.
Aiden?
And I'm like, Aiden, what are you doing? And he's like, Mom, I just got chased through the woods by a 6-foot moose.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And he said a moose. Have you ever seen a moose?
Yeah.
I haven't.
They're fucking huge.
I've never seen a moose
you
up
would
close
think
before
that
in my
they're
life.
just like doo-doo-doo because of Bullwinkle and everything, but no. They're like big, giant,
This was one
antlered
that
out,
had
angry horse
Right, this
things,
was one that had like the really tall legs.
They all do.
And
They're
the
huge.
antlers.
Yes. Oh my God.
And the thing is we don't have internet service out there. He doesn't have a phone. And so
Run for it.
he could not take a picture, no video, nothing. He just like hauled ass out of the woods.
This is one of those old school things where like you just take the person's word for it, right? The story's going to get better and better every time.
He wouldn't have been sweating the way that he was sweating at 6 a.m. and out of breath and completely like,
oh my God.
like freaked out. I've never seen him in that state before.
Poor kid.
Fucking
He's probably
moose.
shit in his pants. And I just shit my pants. And there's
I
ghosts
would
in
have.
it. I would have
Chased by a fucking moose? In the middle of the woods in New Hampshire?
Oh my God.
Alone?
Shit, you're killing me.
How about that's my what the fuck. Does that count?
The story is everything.
Oh my
It's
God.
everything.
I'm going to send you the link to this haunted place where I stayed, and you need to watch it. And picture my family, my hot ass mess family, staying in this bed and breakfast, this haunted place.
With a giant moose. And empty graves.
I mean, the lady was like, you might see a bear out there. They come right up to the deck sometimes. I'm like, oh,
Great.
fuck.
Oh my God.
I don't want to see a bear.
Well, good thing you weren't in a tent. You would have been trampled or eaten.
I know.
Oh my God.
Yep. So, can't
Glad
wait to
you're
go back to
still
New Hampshire.
Honey Nut Cheerios and cardboard and a moose that might kill you if the ghosts haven't. Let's go shit our pants on the East Coast. How about that? God.
Hopefully the Airbnbs will be back up and running then, taking
Yeesh.
people from Illinois.
How about
Jesus
the top
Christ.
floor of a hotel high rise in there somewhere? Do they have a city anywhere there
No.
with any? Oh,
It's not city. I mean,
At all?
their hotels are like trucker motels where the door is on the outside. Yeah.
well, haunted house it is then.
I mean, we could stay in Boston. Boston is just, a little over an hour away, but just because of
Oh, yeah.
we didn't want to stay in Boston this
Well,
time.
plus that was good that you got to see where he was.
Right.
Okay, do you want to talk about that a little bit? Like what it looks like for his schooling, the mom view of this alternative education? Or
Yeah.
not?
I can. Why not?
I don't know, because, I mean, you got to go and see it and see that he's thriving and
Yeah.
that he can outrun a moose. Yay!
He's doing amazing
great.
out there. He gets an A.
These life
I know.
skills. Not dead. Woo!
Oh, shit. He just got an A in PE for running the fastest out of everyone in the class.
I mean, it's very authentic PE. It's none of this made-up bullshit where they're like, go back and forth in the gym 20 times. No, why don't you just outrun that moose? And if you make it, you win.
Right. I mean,
He
seriously.
wins. But were you happy with everything, though? You feel good?
Well, yeah. I mean, that story kind of took up a lot of time, but I think what we were leading into is just this whole idea of different types of education for kids and teens these days. I feel like, and not just in my own family, which in my own family, faux show,
Lots of variety.
But I feel like we should be in a a time where, or not should be, but it seems like that we are in a time where it's almost like everybody needs an IEP on some level. And for those that don't know what an IEP is, it's an individualized education plan. I feel like those days of one teacher with 25 kids is a thing of the past because it ain't working. I mean, it worked.
Well, it's a management system.
Back in the day because we didn't have all these other options.
Well, I think the expectations were different though, because you were, at least for young kids, like, were expected to be able to glue and not eat the glue.
Mm-hmm. I always ate the glue. And I loved peeling it off my hand. Well, yeah. I would peel it and eat it. Ew. So
that's where you get your sensory issues.
Give me a thing of Play-Doh and I was going to town.
I also used to eat paste.
Oh, I mean, you would not even believe how strong the hyperhidrosis is going on right now either. Take a sip.
I think the expectations were different.
Education was different.
You could have this idea of all 25 of these children will basically meet what they're supposed to meet academically because you just had to peel glue and be a good friend. Mm-hmm. Maybe tie your shoe.
That was kindergarten. Kindergarten is now what a 2-year-old should be doing.
I know. Well, okay, but now all of this, you were busy playing with ghosts, but I feel like there's this idea now in Illinois so our district is about to give out like their rules for the kids re-entering. But while you were gone, I'm sure maybe you didn't get the email while you were in the woods, but
I had no internet service.
Illinois,
I'm completely backed up on email.
Kids are going back to school.
Yeah.
So at least with masks and then other things. Like they're still working on the little creative plan. I have no idea how they're going to do it in high school. Unless the kids because I was even saying okay, if you don't do the passing period in the hallway, because the hallway is gross. Oh. Like that's where they get their lice and diseases and everything. Because they're all on each other in the hallway.
And they're making out.
Gross. Okay.
At the lockers. Swap and spit.
Let's say they don't do that passing period in the hallway, right? Even so, if you move them one single file line at a time with the 6 feet distance, when you get that group to the next classroom, how are you getting those kids out without them all spitting on each other? I mean, how are they seriously going to do it?
I don't know.
So, but I think it is lending itself to this overall idea now where everybody's trying to be creative and not just the people that have to make this nonsense work in the buildings. But so many moms are homeschooling now and now it's one big alternative shit show, right? Which was kind of made okay by e-learning. Can we rename that something that's called fake ass annoying COVID school?
Stupid learning.
Fake ass low key bitch school.
Yeah, low-key learning.
Learning? Low-key? Mm-mm.
So low-key's bad or
I don't
good?
know. I don't really know. Okay. Maybe ask a friend for me.
Yeah.
Is it low-key or high-key?
Yeah, no idea. But I do. I think that it almost feels like there needs to be alternative education for each individual student all the time. It almost seems like that. Otherwise, no one's thriving.
That's coming to light now more, I think, is one benefit of this stupid quarantined education situation. Mm-hmm. Is that now it's okay to be well, this meets my kids' needs better, and I'm going to raise mine in a zoo and whatever.
It's not raise mine in the woods of New Hampshire.
It's not a stigma anymore to say I'm going to do this different approach because we all had to endure this bullshit e-learning approach, right? Mm-hmm. So now I think there are more creative options.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was going that way in the first place before this even started. I mean,
with more creativity?
Because more alternative types of education. More, more pull-out groups. Your kids bored. So
that's the thing,
all this
right?
Stuff,
well, because to meet the needs of a child like Frank, you're constantly putting all these different pieces of variety in because she would just sit there and bullshit to her screen that turned her incoherent speech into something that was accepted by her Chromebook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I don't know what the future is going to look like with the education right now, but I think that at the end of the day, and I hate using that phrase, but
low key. Is that better?
at the end of the day, I'm going to use at the end of the day. I don't like that low key, but because I still don't get it.
I don't either.
The parents have to know their kids best, and they have to fight for whatever they feel is going to be best for their children. And in my case, you know, I do get a lot of questions like, you know, why does he go to school in New Hampshire? Why,
Yeah.
you know.
So are you generic? Or you're like, well, that's just what meets his needs? Because it's the truth.
Depends on the person.
But
I don't need
if
to
you
explain
didn't
myself
want
to a bunch of
about
people.
that's your blanket statement, right? This is the school that meets his needs.
Yeah, well, so I know a lot of people in my life that would never talk about this.
Well,
If it was going, if they had, you know, if they had to make the very difficult decision to send their child to a school that was best for them, and you can clearly see that they're thriving and doing amazing, but would never talk about it because wouldn't want the judgment
right,
or wouldn't want.
right.
And so, I mean, this is a really tricky subject. I would personally like to bring more awareness to stuff like this. I mean, we had kind of an extreme case in my family with Aiden, but he has way too many good qualities, way too many strengths to let that go.
I think this is the best scenario for your family as far, obviously he's in a wonderful school right now, but I think the story of all of this is also the best possible scenario for sharing it with other people, because obviously none of these roads are easy, but now you have this, now you're in this place, you know, like you kind of made it through finding something that would meet his needs and getting what he needed educationally.
Yeah, and I don't want to slight that process either, because that was a 4-year pit bull fight.
But now you are able to say, because you fought so hard, now you can say with integrity and not shame, this is what my kid needed, this is how his needs were met. Even though it was a really rough journey. It had to be a rough journey.
Yeah,
if you just said, well, this is how this kid learns and these are his behaviors, go over there. Nobody would give a shit.
Right. And this wasn't something that was like a first resort or a first choice. Like, this was something that was 5 years in the making of this is last resort.
Right.
And so, you know, just to be clear on that, like, the last thing you want to do is, you know, come to the realization that your child is going to thrive best, you know, 16 hours away.
I know.
You know,
it's a testament to your courage.
And especially with the dynamic that he's a twin.
I know.
And his twin is here, and you know, they've always had kind of the same group of friends and played the same sports and in the same classes and stuff. So
you had a lot to weigh.
This was not an easy road. I mean, it was like the hardest road I can even, you know, describe. But now we're seeing that this was what he needed. This is, you know, I think about, do you remember that show, remember Kate plus 8 or John and Kate plus 8?
We're not going into that because she's got that Karen hair and everything, and I was about to focus on all your wins. Not
I know, but hold
John
on,
and 8, Kate, great plate.
No, I think, and just because her...
Why are you bringing her up?
Because she had a son also named Aiden that had a bunch of struggles, that also had to go to an alternative school away from the family.
I'm really
she
sorry,
got shamed
but
to the ground.
You are not even going to compare yourself low key, high key, no key to her.
She was...
No! She put her whole family in front of the show.
Well, I'm
Plus
talking about it here. I know.
No.
I know her ugly ass hair. Looks like she got stuck her finger in a socket. I know. But
okay, fine.
But just who cares about any of that? The point is that she decided to do that.
There's this vulnerable piece that's...
Yeah, I mean, she got shamed into the ground.
Well, but that was because of her hair. Are these your wins?
My win is
We're gonna list them off.
my win for this episode is that
Give me 5.
5.
Yeah, I got him for you. You ready?
I can't do 5.
I have 'em.
I'm not that much of a winner.
Aiden outran the moose.
He survived a moose chase
You sleep in haunted houses because you are low-key, high-key badass.
and survived it. Here to talk about it.
You found him the right educational choice, and you're a strong enough woman to share your story about it. Okay, I gave you 3.
Well,
Come on.
you keep on rolling.
Keep on rolling. Well, your hair, it looks so good today.
I haven't even brushed it this morning, but
you don't
thank
need
you.
to,
Okay, thank
Heather
you.
Locklear. Asking for a Locklear. One more.
The Heather Locklear mugshot.
Poor little chap. Don't do filler, people.
She got her DUI. Her
Is
picture
that
was
what
like.
that was from? Leave her alone.
I'm like, you're right. I do look like Heather
you're gonna
Locklear.
praise Peyton 8 great.
I'm not praising her. I'm not. I couldn't actually stand her.
Fine. Give me one more win. This episode is done. You got to end it on a
This is too
strong
many wins.
win.
You give a win.
Honey Nut Cheerios.
That's not a win.
Sure
that
it
sucks.
is. It's fine.
No, I wanted
Wait, I don't
lox and
personally
bagel.
have one. Lox and bagel. You were out east.
That's what she made, though.
Oh, did they have salmon too?
Yes.
Jumping out of the river right into their hands.
Ghost salmon.
Ghost salmon.
Just,
I
like,
don't have
falling
a
out of
win.
the sky.
I don't really have one. Well, my water's alkaline and not the low-key acidic. How about that?
Oh, okay.
I don't have a win.
You
Here.
don't? Oh, for crazy sakes. All right, Dodson.
Next time.
See ya.